Hi, this is Trisha from Craft Her Way. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create your own polymer clay cutter. For this tutorial, we're going to look at creating a heart shape cutter, and we will be using Cookiecad to help us create our 3D model that we can then print with a 3D printer. Currently, I am on Cookiecad website. Here is a web-based program. In here you can upload a file. So let's go ahead and create our file. You can upload a JPEG or a PNG to Cookiecad. So I'm just going to create my file here in Photoshop, but you can use whatever program that you want. And then I'm just going to go with a 1000 pixels by 1000 pixels to create my design here. And then Photoshop has a built-in heart shape that you can use. I'm going to click under this Legacy Shapes and More. For some reason, if you do not see this folder, you can access it by clicking on the gear icon and hitting Append Default Shapes here. So we'll go to this Legacy Shape More, All Legacy Default Shapes, and then I'm just going to scroll down until I hit the Shapes folder, and let's use this heart. Just dragging it out here, and then you can use the space bar to position it more towards the center. And then let's just align it on our canvas here. So I'm going to hit Align to Canvas and then just get my vertical and horizontal centering there. So with Cookiecad, you can upload a solid shape like this, or you could choose to do a stroke. So if I changed the fill to no fill, I can add a stroke instead. And I usually like making my line around 20 pixels here. And then you could always play with the stroke options. You can align it to the inside, align it to the outside, and then you can change the way that the corners and the caps are rounded. So we'll just go ahead with that one there. We have our heart shape. So let's go ahead and just export it as a JPEG. We'll just go to File, Save a Copy. We'll just give it a name of heart. And then under the format type, I'm just going to select JPEG. We'll go ahead and save it there, clicking on OK. So now we are back at Cookiecad here. I'm going to go ahead and click to upload my file. Navigate to your file here and just click to open it. And then Cookiecad will create a rendering of your option here. Under things to make, you'll want to select, we just want this basic cutter here. And then you can set it to a size. I like to work with the width. And then I'm going to set it at 25 millimeters here because I have found that that's a good size. Let's go ahead and zoom in on this here. I'm working from a laptop and just a trackpad, so it's a little bit more difficult to zoom in. But we can see our heart shape here. And then scrolling down, looking at these settings here. So we have blade depth and we have blade thickness. So we've got our blade depth is the height of our blade here. And then we have the thickness of the blade. In this case, we do see a sharp blade selected, which I will talk more about. Let's go ahead and turn off the sharp blade just so we can see what it looks like. So if you don't have a sharp blade, so you'll just get a basic blade here with the thickness that you set. So I like to work with a blade depth of 9 millimeters. And then the thickness can be dependent upon your 3D printer. Most 3D printers come with a 0.4 nozzle, but you can get smaller ones like a 0.2. When you're considering the thickness, this is the thickness of this blade wall. As you add some of these extra blade, sharp blade features, that will determine our actual thickness of the point area. So for the thickness of my wall, I'm going to go with just 1 millimeter so it's nice and sturdy. If you toggle on extra blade here, we don't really see a change, but let's go ahead and give it a depth of Let's try 3 millimeters and see what that does. So the extra blade comes here at the bottom. So if you want to give a little bit of support to your cutter here, you could maybe bring it up part of the way just so it gives you some extra support here. You could do that. And then you can also determine the extra thickness there. I'm actually going to toggle that off. I prefer to toggle on this sharp blade here. And then here we're looking at tip width and chamfer height. So chamfer height is this distance here between your blade wall and the actual point of your blade. My 3D printer has a 0.4 nozzle currently, so that will be my tip width. And then I like to work with a little bit higher chamfer height, so I'm going to change that to 3 millimeters. And then we can check out our handle height here. I like mine a little bit smaller at 3 millimeters and then a width of 3 millimeters to create the handle. And then you can change the handle shape. So we have an option between, currently it's set to rectangular. You can do chamfer here. What that does is it makes it a little bit of a smaller printing surface with your 3D printers. So it may be a little bit more difficult to print, but we also have the round option. I kind of like doing the round option. I haven't really found too much issue with it printing my handles with the round shape. And there are some additional features here. And you can also come into these experimental settings. In this case, none of these apply, but say you have a shape that you would want to create one for the right, one from the left, you could come in here and use this mirror feature to mirror it. So we have our settings set here, and then I'm going to go ahead and download this. So I'll just click to download the STL file. An STL file is what you need to use with your 3D printer. So we'll go ahead to click to download our STL file. So I have my heart cutter, and I'm just going to give it width of 25 so I know how big it is, and then I'm going to go ahead and save it. The next step is to bring your STL file into your software for your 3D printer. I am using Bambu Studio with my Bambu A1 Mini 3D printer. So here I'm going to go to File, Import my STL. Go ahead and navigate to your .stl file, clicking on Open. And then we see our heart shape. We can kind of move it around, zoom it in to see it here. So to print this, I will need to click on Slice Plate, and then it will just give you details here. You can just bring that up. Then we can see a slicing, and that just takes the STL file and makes it so our 3D printer can print it, and we can just check it out how it looks here in the rendering. So the next step is to send it to my printer. So I've got my 3D printer turned on, and I'm just going to go ahead and click on Print Plate. You want to find your printer here, and then under the settings here I just have bed leveling selected, and then I'm just going to go ahead and send it to my printer. Here we can see our 3D printer working. It is laying down each layer of the filament one by one. It's definitely cool to see the process. Here is the finished printed heart. We can see the close-up of it. We see our blade, and you can see a little bit of that chamfer edge. And then we also have our rounded handle here. You can just see how it is printed and just the overall quality that we got from our print here. So it's definitely cool to create this and now have it in my hand to use it. Thank you for watching this video on how to create your own custom clay cutter using Cookiecad. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment below. This is Trisha from Craft Your Way. See you next time.